evening and welcome to tonight's show from DJNTV, Disc Jockey News TV. Tonight's show is brought to you by Electra Voice, DJ Event Planner, DJ Trivia, Odyssey Innovative Designs and Cases, NLFX Professional, Promo Only, and the DJNTV Insiders.
DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
It's time for Tuesday Night Live Chat with Brian S. Red and John Young. Good evening and welcome to Tuesday night show where we go and show you how to make tacos the way the old-fashioned family did back in the day.
It's Taco Tuesday. There's a truck up the road, and that's what we had tonight.
Yeah, well, I wish we would have. I just had
Dollar Street tacos. So I got a dozen, and everybody's happy.
Our house is kind of chaotic right now because Michael, which a lot of you got to meet Michael last week at DJ Expo, or you've seen him at one of the shows. He had to get his wisdom teeth yanked out today. First off, he's not feeling good, and Michael's usually not a grumpy person. So when he's not feeling well, and he's a little, and then of course he can't eat anything. So it's like, well, let's see, we don't want to make burgers because that's a favorite of his. We don't want to do pizza because that's a favorite of his. We don't want to do this.
Liver and onions.
That's about the extent of it. Soften, yeah.
Here's a nice big bowl of chocolate pudding for you.
Exactly. So,
did he get all four done?
Yeah, he had to get them all taken out. Yeah. So yeah,
I did that too, and I got dry sockets. Oh, it's a nightmare.
Oh yeah, he's not doing too terribly bad. He's better than he was earlier, but want to get it done now before and then he has the time before school.
Right.
Kicks in to make sure.
Yeah. How much time before school? Like 2 weeks?
2 weeks. Yep. He
had
to
be already in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and he had to get through a lot of his summer stuff, and DJ Expo was a big thing. It couldn't do anything before Expo, so here we are. So, good evening. Thank you for being with us. We have got broadcast going out all over the internet. Oh wow, we get some really good numbers on some of this channel. So thank you for being with us. We'll be watching the chat, but the main chat that we're going to be watching is out on YouTube. That's where I'm seeing Scott and Reggie, and there's a lot of names popping up there. William's with us tonight. Here is the link for those of you who are on the other Facebook and such. This is the one that we're going to be utilizing the chat or following that chat the most. So you guys can pop out there and hit that link, join us on YouTube where we will be talking and such. Tonight
we better make it a good show if it's out there and there's a lot of viewers.
I think we will. We got a few things we're going to be hitting tonight. We're going to be last week we were at DJ Expo, and you've heard us. We've already been talking a lot about DJ Expo and such. And tonight we're going to look at it from a little bit different perspective. I want to talk about some of the gear and the needs and such of us as mobile DJs. We want to dig into that a little bit, Brian. And then Jeffrey last night from Canal had asked if we would put some suggestions together and or if there were some ideas and such of what could make the DJ Expo experience better. So I thought, what a great way for us to kind of wrap up our video tonight by hitting some ideas towards the end of what would be great. So that's the idea. So I've got Brian with us and Bars with us. Thank you guys for being with tonight. And
I want to say something before we go any further. Speaking of DJ Expo, John and I were having a conversation earlier about, people at Expo and how you approach them, and it's not exactly who you expected, because you saw them on social media or you see their posts or videos or whatever, and they're not the same person in real life. They're a little different, and that's to be expected. People have like a stage presence or whatever, and then when they're just in chill mode, they're a different person. I get that, but I will say this: Scott Carroll, you get what you get. You get exactly what you think you're going to get with Scott Carroll. And it was a pleasure. And he's exactly who you think he is. So, Scott, it was a pleasure to meet you. I'm glad you were able to make it to Expo, your first DJ convention ever. And you are the real deal. You're the genuine article. And I love you for it. And I enjoyed our conversation and our coffee we had together. So thanks, Scott. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah.
You are a genuine guy. I couldn't be more impressed.
Yeah, yep, and that's very. I've talked to Scott on the phone numerous times and different things, and the Scott we see in our video chats and in the chat room here, and that's
the Scott you get.
Now, and for those of you, Bar and I have had this discussion when Bar was on, because Bar would be a kind of an introvert, and myself, I'm that way also. Is that when we're on camera, we might be one way. But when we're by ourselves, we could just go blend into the background. It's that Homer Simpson kind of fading back into that can be us. And it's, so some of the times
Bar is wonderful in person, by the way. He's not the same guy in the video, but I really enjoy. I haven't talked to Bar at all. I don't even know if he was the show, but I always enjoy spending time with him and talking to him. I like who he is in real life too. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, but it was just Scott was just like, "Whoa, this is Scott Carroll! Holy crap, this is really Scott Carroll. This is not a representative of Scott Carroll. This is not a Scott Carroll emoji. This is Scott Carroll. This is exactly what I thought it would be." So,
good stuff. So the show last week, there was some new gear presented. There's some old gear, and we've talked numerous times about gear and the mobile DJ. And one of the disappointments I think that I had this year from a couple of the companies out there that had their displays up. It's like for guys like yourself and myself who are doing small to mid-sized weddings, and it's like sometimes I just feel there's a disconnect between what we are needing for our jobs and what is being produced out there from the different companies. And I know you've done some videos and talked about this a little bit.
Yeah. And I didn't mean those to be negative videos. And so I don't want that to be taken the wrong way. I wasn't trying to hate on companies or DJ Expo. I was just really, and I didn't really express it very well on YouTube. What I was really thinking about was when companies make decisions on what to give us, A, are they listening to us? And B, if they are listening to us, who are they listening to? That was kind of what I was thinking. And I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. What John's talking about is, and I talked about it in my videos, Chauvet had that bubble machine that does fog.
Yeah.
It was a scaled down version of the big industrial one from Froggies that we saw at NAMM, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I thought that was fun. I thought it was neat. And then to see one that's more on a mobile DJ scale was interesting.
Yep, fit very well.
I can see, I guess that, how it's not like perfect or ideal or whatever, but it does what it says it's going to do. It's a relatively small footprint, Mm-hmm. And then you go over to 80J, and they had a really cool booth this year. It was different design than they usually have. And the big presence there, when you look at the 80J booth, the first thing that I saw were LED video screens.
Yep. And
there were like 3 different levels of them, So they're video panels, and you attach them together, and then you run video through them, and they have different resolutions, and the resolutions are improving. And, those sort of things that really kind of stuck out at the show. Like if you were looking around, those were the things that were kind of popping at you.
Right.
And, and that, as cool as those things are, you have to ask yourself, who asked for this?
Mm-hmm.
Who asked for any of this, and who wants it? Who's going to buy it?
that last part. Who's going to buy?
Yeah.
Some of these LED video screens that are starting at $10,000 to $15,000.
Right. Right.
And I wonder at times is that if and let's just dig into that video screen.
Okay.
Every company, pretty much, I think American DJ, Chauvet, and Blizzard all had video LED screens here at the show. I don't think.
I didn't see Blizzard.
Yeah, Blizzard Pro is over, past the marijuana on the.
It was on the wall, but I didn't notice video walls. But I mean, I'm sure they had.
I think they had a little one. They had one there. Okay. The thing is that so the companies have these there, and but the kind of people who are buying these are our production companies, some of these East Coast bar mitzvah companies.
Yes.
I know numerous owners of these companies, and some of them are buying from some of the dealers, but a lot of these guys come here, look at it, find out what the tech is and such, and they're going and buying direct from a Chinese distributor. And many of the people that we've talked with, it's some that have been on our shows and such. This is very, very common. When you're at that level, I can buy a $10,000 video screen for $6,000 if I buy it Chinese direct, compared to buying it that way. So sure. I really wonder, and that's the part. It's like, okay, so company's got this beautiful video wall, but really there wasn't anything from the mobile DJ side lighting wise beyond. I mean, the coolest part was probably the bubbler, and the second coolest light that I saw was something from Chauvet, one of the little Bluetooth lights, because I've gotten into that Bluetooth controlling of the lights. Mm-hmm. Other than that, I mean, yeah, there were some cool up lights. Owen had some neat stuff there that looked really neat. And there were other things that were neat, but it wasn't things that, as a typical average, kind of the middle of the road mobile DJ, where the most DJs are when it comes to the mobile wedding market, there wasn't a lot of things that would be a good fit for them and their businesses. And it's kind of a head scratcher of why the industry basically there's this group of people and we're kind of ignoring them to a point.
Well, this is kind of what I was wondering. Okay, as I'm walking around, there were some cool things there. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's most of the stuff is stuff I was already aware of. The JMAZ battery powered moving heads. Of course, that's cool. One thing that they're not talking about over there at JMAZ, and I'm hoping to get some of that product here. I've talked to Jason. He's busy right now, but I think we're going to start doing some work with JMAZ. So I'm going to actually show you some of this stuff. They haven't highlighted it at all, but those do come with an RF remote. So, here I'm thinking, if you can dial those in to do front of house, master slave them wirelessly, and control them with an RF remote, there's your heads. I mean, no, you can't do spotlight dances and such with something like that, but you can very easily set up and control a set of moving heads to just kind of do a light show without any fuss or muss. Set them down, turn them on, and control them with a remote. That's kind of cool. Mm-hmm. The Ape stuff I like. Of course, they've got the coins. They're really going to be needed. The price point's great on those. I have them here. I'm going to be doing videos on them in the next couple days. And the LD Systems 95 Go. I mean, that's been out for a minute, but it's there and it's interesting. And they had some stuff from Gravity that was kind of cool. Little stands and adapters and things. They had a cool tripod mount, thing for video monitor that, very inexpensive and a really cool way to add video to what you do as a mobile guy.
Right.
And phase and there's stuff, it's not like there's not stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, look,
a lot of Me Too stuff though. And a lot of the same stuff, it's like, here's another LED lighting fixture that's Hex and DMX. Here's another one.
Yeah.
And we've been seeing these for how long? And here's another one.
Yeah, it's a Hex. It's got seven LEDs on it. Oh, here's one that has 9 LEDs, and here's one that has this, and this one has a curved bracket, and this one has a squared off bracket. Okay. Yeah. But I think Dave kind of mentioned in his comment here about the things that'll make it easier or make our setup and teardown simpler and such. that's the kind of stuff I think a lot of DJs are looking for. Things that can,
Yes.
like Brian has mentioned, make easy control. I can control it. I can do this. I'm a single operator. Make it so I can. Was talking to a gentleman a day or two ago, who said that he'd love to find a way to make his system and his rig look more elegant and more professional, more wedding friendly, but not wanting to break the bank and go and get this really expensive facade and all these different things and such, because their money doesn't grow on trees everywhere, and I get that.
Right. Now that brings up an interesting point too. I wanted to talk about just kind of how we are on social media and what we say and what the results of this could be. And, what maybe we are making a difference, but we're making a difference that we don't like. Mm-hmm. What I mean by that is, let's pretend that all the stuff that we actually say on videos and on social media and in different groups, let's pretend that the companies are paying attention to these things. Mm-hmm. What are the things that we're saying? We've got the tech guys, okay, who are asking for apps and better ways to control DMX. You see a lot of that.
Guys like Howie who if it's like a second language that he's been doing forever, right, and he's very fluent in it. And
he's good at it.
And he's good, yeah. And he can, it's like, I want lights that so I can make him go and turn upside down and do somersaults.
Yeah. Now Howie is a tech-oriented guy. And DMX was designed for stage and theater in the 1980s. It's binary code. And for stage and theater, it works incredibly well. We have kind of had it shoved in our face in the last 20 years. Mm-hmm. I think intelligent lighting was kind of a buzzword in the 90s. And DJs thought, ooh, that would be really neat. Intelligent lighting, that sounds amazing.
Yep.
And it was scanners, basically is what it was. Yeah. And the ability to master slave things or whatever, or they pocket scans or whatever they were. DJ scans, I don't remember what they were called. ADJ had them. But that was like the hot thing. If you had that, whoa, that's high tech. Yeah. And it was, probably mid 90s or whatever. But anyway, you've got those guys who are talking about, a better mousetrap. So, we want better DMX control. And we want, maybe easier DMX control is what they're asking for, and apps and things. And then on the other hand, you have, and you've already said it, got DJs talking about how they want inexpensive. Mm-hmm. They don't want to spend a lot of money. They don't want anything that's, in the words, what words do they use? Cheap, overpriced is a bad thing. They want cheap, they want inexpensive, they want affordable. Otherwise, it's overpriced, it's too expensive, it's out of my budget. I almost think the companies are listening to these comments because that's what they're giving us. Mm-hmm. They're giving us weirdo things that aren't really helping us out. They're giving us apps. They're giving us new ways to control old stuff.
Yeah.
Or they're giving us more of the same, but, maybe built for less money. When you ask for things that are inexpensive and you convince the market, you can actually convince the market and these manufacturers that that's what you want. I believe this is the thought process. Okay. They don't want to spend a lot of money. They've made that obvious.
Sure.
So what we have to do is give them products. It doesn't really matter what, but give them products that don't cost a lot of money. So how can we make things the most affordable? Oh, I know. Let's skip the R&D process. Let's go to Beijing, China. Let's go to one of these big shows where these manufacturers have already built this stuff in-house. Pick a duck off the shelf. Say, I like the price point on this. Maybe a DJ might like it. Maybe they won't. I don't know. But you know what?
Put a sticker on it.
Put my name on it.
Yep.
And then ship it over here. Give us 500 of them. And we'll send them out there to the USA, Canada, Mexico, Europe. And hopefully somebody buys them. It's not innovative. Mm-hmm. when you skip the R&D process, when you skip the quality control process, you don't have innovation. You only have what China gives you at a really inexpensive price. I think that DJs, and it's in the price structure that DJs use. Wow, how much can I ask for a wedding reception? And they're not even taking into consideration what it's costing them to provide this wedding reception to the people.
Yeah.
They're not taking into consideration any of that. And there are other DJs out there who are getting a great return on investment. However, they really haven't put any thought into a business plan. When it comes to charging, they're just charging what they think they can get.
Yeah.
I can get more, but I didn't really care how much I spent, but I can get more. With that type of mentality, when it comes to business, yeah, DJs are like, oh, I don't like it. It's inexpensive. It's exactly what I asked for, but I don't like it. Well, come on. If you want something innovative and new, you have to pay for the R&D. You have to pay for the quality. There's no way around it. And if this is who the companies are listening to, they're listening to the wrong damn people, because I don't think they're really truly representative of who we are as an industry.
I would definitely agree. And actually, I'll be right. I got something I want to show you that I actually just came in today. So,
hi, Jay.
Talk to Jay for a second. I'll be 10 seconds.
Yeah. Jay, if you haven't watched, anybody in here, if you haven't watched the last 7 minutes of the first broadcast stream from a week ago at the Irish pub, where put Jay on stage and just kind of put a quarter in and let him go, you missed out. You got to go see Jay just riffing on the Desheki news last week. It was quite good. Hi, John.
Okay, I'm back. This is a prime example, I think, of a situation where you've got a company that does some R&D, but I think that you don't have as many mobile DJs in their areas they used to have. Chauvet DJ introduced the Easy Link, the PAR. This is the Q1 BT, little LED light. Yeah. I ended up buying some of them. What I liked about it is that they have these last two letters, BT. This will hook in with all my Bluetooth. It's battery powered, 10-hour battery, what have you. Now, the negative thing is that it's a Q1. It's a quad, which is okay, I guess. But this was, I think their selling price was like $85 on these things. And for those of you who are wanting to see, it's a bright little light. I can go through and cycle through colors and wherever. It's a typical little light, nothing fancy. And then, of course, you can set it so then it's looking for Bluetooth and it connects. Yay, rah. This particular light, now, if I were wanting to sell these to wedding DJs, I would have asked the wedding DJ and said, hey, what do you need in a light? Well, the magnetic base is kind of nice, that's for sure. And it sits, that's kind of nice for sure. They could have skipped the quad and gone right to the hex. And I realize we just talked about all the lights that are into the hex, but they have the H1 of these. Why, if they would have just taken the H1, a hex one, put Bluetooth capability in with it, I would have paid $150 easily for one of these, for a pack of them, which is probably more than what they were charging for the hex version. But instead of going that direction, we put the Bluetooth, but we put it in and we go cheap with it. And I did buy some. I have 8 of them that I want, because I've got some tent situations that are coming up, and I want to be able to do, just a second, I want to see if I can do this. I want to be able to do things like that.
Of course.
Wherever. I guess this is
aluminum.
That's aluminum. There we go. That's what I'm after. Yeah, I guess my aluminum tent isn't going to work very good. But that's what I'm at. I wanted to have that capability. And it's like, okay, so we're so close. I mean, we've had this conversation with DJ controllers, and there were a few new things that were at Expo. They're so close to having something really cool. And then we dropped the ball. And specifically, we see them most of the time, and Ben Stowe's talked about that mic input. Why they put such poor quality preamps in those mics is just... I'll be vague. I did have a conversation with somebody who is influential at DJ Expo, a company that does some pretty good stuff when it comes to audio for us.
as DJs about that very thing.
Uh-huh.
And hopefully I'm going to be having more conversations about that and trying to maybe influence this company a little bit to go and do some things like that, to give us things like, for example, a better microphone input in some of the products, and why they need it. I think is the thing. Why they need it is the big question. They don't know why they need it. They don't understand why they need it. So they need to hear those kind of things from the DJ community, or from someone who, or from people who actually, they want to listen to. You can't listen to everybody.
Yeah.
And I'll give you an example of that. I was asking people yesterday, perhaps, what would you like to see happen, or what would you like to see, DJ equipment wise? What would you buy?
Right.
And one guy popped up and said, we need, not I would like, but we need a real good 19-inch rack mount mixer, robust, built like the old school days. Okay, we who?
Yeah.
You and what army needs this?
Yeah, for sure.
I think you're an island, dude. So you can't listen to everybody, On the other hand, if you keep hearing the same thing over and over and over and over again, you're eventually going to listen. And I do believe that's what's happening with this too expensive, affordable, hold on a minute. If you want something that doesn't exist, it's not going to be inexpensive. There's got to be R&D involved with this. Just be prepared to pay for it. Okay? If we all wanted inexpensive cars, we'd all be driving Ford Focuses. There's more than one car out there to choose from. Or Chevy Volts, or whatever the
flavor is.
Yeah, Dodge Neons. We'd all be driving Neons. It'd never change.
That'd be great.
Or we'd still be driving Volkswagen Beetles from the 60s, and there would never be another car because that was inexpensive at the time.
I was talking to a very, probably one of the most intelligent guys in the industry at the Expo, and he was talking that one of his frustrations is when the company will they put such a focus on the club people, and it was a company that creates gear for the club DJs, but they it's like the wedding market. They've almost not completely ignored, but it's that secondary thing. And he was sharing that all the videos that the interviews and such are focused more on that side of it. And to be able to take that and to be able to translate how this gear works for wedding DJs, and even to have some influence in that, so they could create more things for wedding DJs. I think that, just kind of reading between the lines, I think that he was really saying that there's a disconnect in that realm.
Oh, I think there is, for sure. But I mean, how much disconnect is there really when they look at their numbers and who sells what? Mm-hmm. As long as it sells, who cares?
And that could be the thing is that...
Yeah, if people are still buying it, then it must be fine. Don't change anything.
I want to...
Every company has to hit a price point. They really do. So it doesn't matter if it's premium equipment or budget equipment. There's still this place you have to hit to have it make sense for distributors, retailers, and the consumer.
Just Brian, hold on. The price point that makes sense. For those of you in the chat, put in the chat how long you have had your current main DJ controller. There's a point I want to make with this. Just put in there if you've had it for a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever you've had, and
it would also be interesting if you put in there, when do you plan on replacing it?
Yeah, that because we'll tie this in. It'll come back together here in a minute.
Like, what's the lifespan of your average controller mixing board, kind of thing? Yeah.
So I was in Best Buy the other day. This is going to feed right into it. Best Buy carries some entry-level controllers. I'm in there to buy a Sonos speaker for the house. Two different young men, in that college age, are both carrying the inexpensive entry-level controllers, headed to the checkout, not connected with each other. One was headed to one checkout and one was headed to the other, and they weren't. Small central Minnesota area, and they're selling two entry-level DJ controllers on I don't know, what was it, Thursday or Tuesday afternoon, whatever it was. as much as we like to think that they should be catering to us, and I know a couple of people mentioned this, that they should be. No, unfortunately, this is where, if we're looking at the numbers here, Brian. I don't know if you've seen these.
I'm seeing them. Yeah, I'm seeing
2,
them.
3, 4, 5 years, and obviously some of these may not be controllers per se, like some, but most of these are some controller of some sort.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, that you say that because, like, okay, I'm going to make another car analogy because this is the one industry that I was involved in where I wasn't really pulling too many strings. I was just going with it and making observations. So I worked at a Dodge store, okay, and this was in the early to mid 2000s. You could buy a Dodge Neon, that was a thing you could buy. That was like the I think the least expensive car that we offered. Okay. Now you could also buy a Dodge Stratus, which is a step up. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now you could also buy a Viper. They were making Vipers, and we always had a Viper on our showroom floor. One Viper we got a year. I mean, every store didn't get a Viper, but we'd order
one of them.
And the thing would sit there for a long time, which was good because you wanted it on the floor because it drew attention. And it would get sold eventually, and then you get another Viper. We had a gray one year. We had a red convertible one year. I mean, we had, the gray hardtop with the white rally stripes. It was a cool car. Remember them well because I stared at them for months on end.
Wow.
They were just there.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise you'd rotate things in and out. All right. So let's take this into the pro audio thing that you were talking about. And what you're talking about, the Best Buy guy. Okay, the Best Buy guy is going to be the Neon. He's going to be the budget thing.
Yep.
All right. He's going to be way down here. Okay. Now, the guy with something to prove. All right. And let's pretend this is kind of like the club guy. He's going to get the Viper. Okay. That's going to be the car he gets. Can you imagine if Dodge only sold Neons and Vipers? They sold the bare basement budget Dodge Neon. And then they sold the Viper, and those were the only two cars you could buy at a Dodge store.
The top and the bottom.
No Chrysler Town and Country minivans, no really nice Dodge Chargers with the Hemis in them, no Ram pickup trucks. I mean, nice stuff. No Jeeps. Jeeps are high dollar,
Oh, yeah.
It's all that stuff in the middle that's your bread and butter. Yeah, we sold a Viper every year. Yeah, we've sold quite a few Neons, but most people were really coming in there and buying the stuff in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
That's the DJ. That's the mobile DJ. They don't want the cheap thing, but they don't want the Viper. They need the practical, dependable thing with the good warranty right in the middle.
Town and Country.
They want the Chrysler Town and Country. They want the minivan. They want the loaded Dodge Caravan or the Ram quad cab pickup truck. They don't necessarily want the cheap base truck. They want the nice truck. But you can't just give them a Neon and a Viper. It doesn't make any sense. You have to have that stuff in the middle for the working guy out there. And there's more of those guys than there are Neon guys, and definitely more than there are Viper guys. A lot more than Viper guys.
Let's we're going to take a quick little break here. For those of you who follow Brian and I, we maybe you've heard a little bit about coming up next year in February. We are going to be going to Las Vegas for co-locating an event with the Photo Booth Expo. So we're going to run this spot. We'll be right back. So that is something we're going to be doing in February of 2020 is we're going to be doing our first Vegas event. Now, there's going to be a lot of particulars coming out here in the next few weeks on what this is. What you need to know for now is you can go to DJNTV.com/Vegas, and that will take you to the event page on Facebook. And that's where we're going to be announcing a lot of the information about what we are going to be doing. You can buy your tickets right now and through the Photo Booth Expo, because we're co-locating this event with Photo Booth Expo for this year. You can get your tickets, and that's going to get you in the door. And then as we get more information and such on what's going to be there, you guys will be able to be part of that also. Ticket information and the current code for discounts and such is all following that DJNTV.com/Vegas link. But you will be there in February 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, and you'll be able to hang out with Brian and myself and many others from our channel in Vegas. So there's our plug for tonight. Okay.
Like it.
So getting back to it, I wonder, and you've got some. You talked to some companies. I mean, you've flown and you've seen some of the speaker companies in when you went to Italy, and you've talked to. How much do you think how far removed do you think from the average working wedding DJ or the DJ who's out there doing this type of stuff that isn't club DJ? How far removed are some of these companies, or are they still really trying to incorporate someone who's in that realm into their feedback loop? Let's call it.
I think they're misguided, and that's kind of what I was getting at before with the car analogy thing with the Neon and the Viper. They feel like, and again, who are they listening to? I think that they interpret mobile DJ as budget. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that's true. Not always. Sometimes it is. There are people in this chat who, excuse me. Wow, that came from nowhere. There are people in this chat right now who really want the lowest price light they can possibly get their hands on. And that's okay. There's a market for that.
Oh, certainly.
But there are also people in this chat who want to step it up, and they want to have something that's better than this cheap thing. They're getting ignored. The people who are getting the attention are the ones who want the cheap thing. The inexpensive budget off-the-shelf thing. They don't necessarily want OEM China from Beijing, but that's what they get because that's the only thing these companies can hit a price point with. So, when you skip that R&D, that's what you get. So the folks out there who want mobile yet quality are getting ignored. And
interesting thing you brought up, of course, the Chinese companies, the Chinese direct that can reach these price points. Bar, Rick Webb, and Brian, I'm sure you have it too, where people they're sending you the email saying, "Hey, I've got this light. Could you do a review on the light?"
Sure.
We get these. Generally, there's about 3 a day that hit right now. It's crazy. But occasionally, you've got someone out there who will send. They'll send the product out, and I've gotten that. And as I've looked at it, it's like this is just junk. And
Thank you, Peter.
And there was actually one that. They sent it out. It's like, this isn't cool. You need to fix this, and this. And within probably an hour, it was pulled off Amazon. And they actually went back and they were working on it. And the guy was like, thank you. We don't work with DJs to know exactly what they're looking for. And that was, on one hand, it was like, how could you be, and then on the flip side, I'm thinking to myself, this guy's actually trying. He's out there taking that, and they're going to go back and they're going to, and actually, I think I got an email from him yesterday, and they've got a new light that they're coming out with, but now they've gone to a hex, and they've gone away from the plastic yoke. The stand on it isn't plastic this time. It was just some little things that just made it where it was a complete deal breaker before that.
Yeah.
So
well, the weird part about it is, I mean, when you really think about it. Everything seems to be, and I can't think of, can you think of something that's made here for us?
That's made
here?
In the United States.
Yeah. Because everything seems to be made either in Europe or in Asia that I can think of. It's all either, high end, low end, doesn't matter. It seems like everything is either made in Europe or made in Asia.
I don't even know if I could think of even getting out of the DJ industry into the other, the power tool.
Exactly. We don't make much.
We don't make it. Yeah. There's even back at GIE of last year, this is the show I hit in October. We're in this green industry. So it's a lawn, garden, what have you. And the interesting phrase that a lot of them were using is that it was assembled in America. It wasn't made in America. Things were assembled in America with international products. And I heard that phraseology easily a dozen times.
Well, that's kind of like EV's model. That's what they do. Some things are made in Asia. Some things are made in Germany. Some things are made in Mexico. But it's all put together. It's a couple little parts are made here in the States. It's all assembled in Mexico and shipped. The reason, Electro Voice, I think, has done a pretty darn good job with things like the Evolve 50. I think they've done a good job. I like it. I think the price point is more than fair for what it is, and it serves our needs. When I look at other pieces out there, and I think about where they were engineered, because like EV was engineered here in Minnesota. I believe it was, right?
Yeah, that's where one of their main plants or main headquarters.
That was kind of the brainchild of Mike D, right? I mean, that was his baby. So Mike D came up with it. He worked with people. So it was an American. The conception of the Evolve 50 at any rate was definitely American. The R&D was done here, and the design was done here, and the concept and the need was established here in the United States, and it was built overseas, and that's fine. But a lot of these things, like let's say Ape Labs lighting, FPT speakers, or most any other lighting company or speaker company, a lot of the stuff is OEM China, Asia. And what do they really know about the biggest market on the planet for mobile DJs, which is the United States market?
And a high percentage of that is private parties, weddings, parties.
Yes, the mobile DJ in the United States of America is by far the biggest market in the world for these products. And I've got confirmation of that. I knew it. I mean, if you do the math, it's obvious. But I got confirmation of that show from more than one person. This is the biggest market, and they're dropping the ball in this market. How is this possible? They're not doing the R&D here. They're doing the R&D somewhere else for something else. So maybe that's part of the problem. They're not really looking at what we're actually doing. They're guessing. Maybe they want this, maybe they want that, but they're not really paying close attention to, what, Scott Carroll's doing in Florida.
Yeah, for sure.
They're not watching him. Okay, what does Scott do? Scott gets up, probably about 10 in the morning on a show day, sits around and he has his eggs and toast, and he gets cleaned up, and he loads the truck up and kisses the wife goodbye, and hits a burger place on the way there because Scott's hungry, and then he goes to the event and he's got to unload and he's got to find power outlets, and he's got to make sure the wireless microphone works, and he's got to make sure that everything looks nice, and he's got to get it set up in this time frame and all these things. I don't think that that's not fair. I don't think most R&D people understand this. And the companies that do or used to do some R&D, some real R&D for our industry, they're out there. They've been around for a long time. We all know who they are. They have these R&D guys who came in their 30s, and they were mobile DJs. And all of a sudden they got this R&D job because they had all these wonderful ideas, because they had empathy for the mobile DJ. They got it because that's who they were. And they made some incredible things. And they would look at a product and say, no, that's not going to work because mobile DJs don't do it like that. They do it like this. So that has to be changed. And that's innovation. And that's really thinking about your customer. And now, 20 years later, 25 years later, these guys not only haven't been a mobile DJ for 25 years because they've had this high-paying R&D position, but they're long in the tooth, and they want to hang on to their position with both hands. They don't want to give it to anybody else. They do. I mean, it's self-interest. They're so out of touch. They have not spun in front of an audience for 25 years. They're living in the big house. They got the hot shit car. They got the kids in college, all this crap. But they're not thinking about us anymore because they are not us anymore. They're the furthest thing in the world away from us. If they were smart and they weren't they didn't have so much self-interest in mind, they would look for the guy at their company who's still out there doing that wedding every Saturday, because he's not really making a lot of dough at the company. He's still trying to, get a couple bucks together so he can pay for the car or whatever, on top of the rent. this guy is hustling. He's at the company because he loves DJing, not because it was just a job. He tried to get a gig here, and whenever there's some scratch and dent stuff, he takes advantage of it and he buys it, and he's an active DJ. That's your R&D guy. That's your idea guy. That's the guy who understands what products are needed in this market. And I think there was a time, not all that long ago, where we saw some pretty amazing things from these little bigger companies because those R&D guys were in touch. But today, they're out of touch.
Yeah, I think it definitely.
Oh God, I just soapboxed. I'm so sorry.
You did.
But I really feel that way. You know?
And I think yeah, that's definitely. I think there's our disconnect. If we could boil the show down to why this is happening, is there's just a disconnect between
Julius at Ape Labs. Okay, and I hate talking about the same companies over and over again, but these are the ones that I've really been paying attention to, not only just their products, but I know them personally, and I do the math on this stuff, and it's like, oh, okay. So Julius at Ape Labs, I think he's like 33, 34 years old. He's a young guy. He was a DJ. He loves this. Mm-hmm. That's why he built the stuff. That's why he's building the things he's building, because he was just out there and he saw a need and he's filling it. People hate DMX. Let's skip it. People hate plugging things in. Let's not do that. People like lightweight. Let's do that. People don't want to hook a bunch of stuff up and charge it. They want it easy. Let's do that. So he did that. They want a remote control like this one right here that they can turn on and off multiple fixtures within the same product line. There you go. Jason, over at JMass. Jason can't be that old. He's a young guy.
Yeah, a lot younger than we are.
and he's got R&D going on. He's bringing some pretty cool stuff to the table. Yeah, he's got some inexpensive things too that I did see the show. He had a lot there. So he's trying to reach out to those who are saying too expensive. He's trying to help them out too, but he's trying to make some really neat stuff, put some thought into it, and having some empathy for the industry with some of the things that he does. These are the people who watch. These are the people who I think are doing great things. They have passion for it. They're not just looking at a bottom line dollar. They're, how can I make the most money? That's not what they're thinking. They're thinking, how can I make a difference? How can I just build something really cool that's gonna just blow people's minds? That's innovation. That's fun. That's passion, and that's what I like to see in this industry. Yeah, that's and it shows when you see it. When someone built something just because they thought it was cool or interesting, or it was just out of the norm, you can tell there's passion there, and I really appreciate that. I do, and when I see it, I know it. I know some 55-year-old R&D guy didn't do this crap. Mm-hmm. I know a young guy did this, and it was his idea. And if the R&D guy is 55 years old, he actually listened to the young person who suggested this. He didn't come up with it. There's no way he did. There's no way.
Yeah, most likely not.
It makes no sense. So, I don't have time for this. I have to go get a new car, okay? A really expensive one to make you feel like crap when you pull into the parking lot to go to work every day. Parked in my executive spot. I don't care about what you need. I only care about is how much, how many new cars I can buy. Can I make you feel worse every day when you come in? That's what I want to do. So I'm gonna just buy things that I can make a lot of money on, and I don't have to take a lot of time on, and I can get a more expensive car, and get pats on the back because I made more money. Fine, do that. Capitalism is a good thing, I guess. But you know what? I like passion. That turns me on. And that's what I like to see.
And I think that's one of the reasons why we both have kind of a soft spot in our heart for Jim Baxter.
Oh my God!
I mean, if there's someone who's designing things out of a passion for a need.
Now, Jim's not 30 years old.
I know. That's why when you were starting to go off on age and such, it's like Jim's.
Well, no, it was just these R&D guys who get stuck in this bubble and they don't care. The difference between those guys and Jim is Jim still gigs.
Yes,
Jim. I mean, I know how old Jim is. Okay, he could be my dad. I mean, yeah, he had done it pretty young, but he could be my dad. But Jim goes out and he does proms and homecomings and college parties and wedding receptions. He still gigs. So when he's on the road, he says, if I had this, it would make my life better. So he builds these things because he's just got that kind of brain. And there you go. And you get the cool stuff from Colorado Sound and Light. Be it the simplest little, tripod pole collar that changes your whole light show and makes your life easy for $15-20, or this incredible other thing that costs you $4,000. Jim builds both, but he's thinking about us because he's one of us. That's why he's thinking about us. That's passion. Yeah, and how he said it in the chat, Jim is a unicorn. He is.
Yeah,
he is definitely a unicorn, and he's just a great guy. You showed those Chauvet lights. Yeah, Jim's got, like, I guess those are off the shelf Beijing because Jim's got them too.
Yeah,
but Jim put his own spin on them, and they're a little different. They're not Bluetooth, but I think they're hex. I had them in here. I sent them out, but I had them in here, did a demo on them. The one criticism I have on those, just how much metal do I have around me at an event?
There certainly is that.
Yeah. And I see this. Oh, it's magnetic. How handy is that?
Yeah,
well, you just said you had aluminum tint pole. All of our truss is aluminum. My Pro Vent table is aluminum. What the hell am I going to attach these things to?
Grandpa,
I have to literally walk into a room built of I-beams to put these anywhere.
I'm hoping Grandpa has a pacemaker so he's good attached to that.
Yeah.
No, it'll go for a while. Okay, so we got a few minutes left. I want to, Brian, I'm going to give you a second to think about this. We're going to do that one quick little teaser with that Vegas thing again. But when we come back, I want you to come up with one thing that could be done to make DJ Expo better. Okay, so just be thinking about that. We'll be right back here because we're going to be coming to you February 2020 in Vegas. Thank you guys for being with us tonight. We've got over 100 people watching on the different channels right now. So it's pretty awesome, man. And you guys are making time for us tonight. It's so beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys for being out tonight. So we're going to wrap up our show. This is something that Jeffrey from Canal Sound and Light, who was representing ADJ, Rock and Roller Cart, LD System. I think he did that on also.
Yeah, he did.
Yep.
Gravity.
So the company very active and such. And if you're looking for some of the gear that you saw or heard us talk about, give Jeffrey a call out at Canal Sound. Jeffrey will take care of you. He is a great
dude.
He's a good guy.
Nicest guy in the world.
There's a few dealers that we really highly recommend. Ben Stowe, obviously, because he's like a brother. Jeffrey's right up there. These are guys who are going to take care of you, and I would not hesitate to send you there and to do business with them. So
Jeff's one of those guys who he's like, you know how Ben is always talking about these installs he's doing. Jeffrey's doing stuff like that too.
Oh yeah.
It's like in Manhattan, like Madison Square Garden. I mean, he's doing big things, but he doesn't you wouldn't know it. It's just very modest. I actually had dinner with Jeffrey and the boys from Adam Hall Group, who are LD Systems and Gravity Stands, and I had Surf and Turf. Jeffrey was going to have the sea bass, but it was gone, so I think he went scallop. But it was a nice night. I did that on Wednesday. So
excellent.
Anyways, thank you for that, boys. But one thing I would change.
The one thing that you would change, and I've got kind of a little plan here that I've been working on that if I could make.
Now you just threw this at me, so I didn't have time to think about it. But I can tell you the one thing I would change. Get rid of that. Make a lot of noise. DJ Wiki stage. And if you don't want to get rid of it, if you must have it, because maybe Testa is like getting this big chunk of change from the speaker company that's blasting this thing off 5 times a day where nobody can do any business. How about you save it until the end of the day? Or maybe you open with it. You open with it and you do it for 20 minutes as soon as people are walking in, and you put on this big show, and then you only do it again at the end of the show because it's disruptive. Nobody can talk. Nobody can do anything. I think that they actually, and I overheard somebody at Expo say to somebody at the booth, they expected you to shut down several times a day for 20 minutes and do nothing
Yeah.
while that played. And that was supposedly in the contract. That was awful. That is, I don't give a crap about that. And I'm sure somebody does. And it's probably guys like John, when your son's on the stage, you care about that.
Mm-hmm.
But if it wasn't your son on the stage and you were trying to
Do our job. Yeah.
talk to somebody about, I don't know, phase or whatever, it would just piss you off.
Yeah,
or if you were there trying to do business with a photo booth, you were selling photo booths and you had a client in front of you who ready to go, and all of a sudden, ladies and gentlemen, I don't hate that.
DJ
I would fire that guy.
Stage.
I would fire that guy or give him a script, because the next time if I ever see that guy on the microphone, we can ice pick and stab him in the temple and kill his ass. It's terrible. But anyway, the other thing, now that I'm thinking about it,
Okay.
what was going on with the internet in that place, man?
Now you've just covered mine. There you go. Okay, keep going. For the people who weren't
No,
there.
no, take it from there.
Well, I think in this day and age, you've got a room that you've got Brian, you've got Barr, you've got Rick Webb, you've got Mojo, you've got myself, you've got any number of 100 different DJs there that have a social media presence. For your exhibitors, the value of having Barr do an Instagram thing and say, hey, look at this cool thing I'm seeing right here, right now at DJ Expo, upload. The value to that exhibitor that's gold right there.
Yeah.
Instead of being seen by the 2,000 people who went to DJ Expo, all of a sudden that little video is being seen by 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 people the same week.
Or alternately, maybe it's being seen by people who are at Expo.
Exactly.
And they think about going to that booth, but the internet's so good that, and the signal that they're getting for their phone is so good that while they're outside taking a break, they're thumbing through the phone. Oh, here's a video Barr did. What's that booth? I should go back and check it out. But when the internet is useless, you can't even do that.
Yeah, and you make a great point, because when I do that walk around video, the number of people who come up in the hallway and that saw the Monday night walk around video when it was still half of them weren't set up, they're like, oh yeah, I saw it on your video, and a couple of them pointed something out that I didn't even see as I'm walking through, but they did. So yeah, I think the internet is.
It's awful.
That's awful. just horrible. And I know some people mentioned the blocking, and there could be blocking in it, or could be just enough metal.
I heard jamming from somebody in the know.
Oh, so there could
be. What they told me was that, and they were exhibitor or vendor or whatever. They needed internet to run credit cards, to sell things, to do deals on the floor. They couldn't get it. They had their hotspot, but it's obviously jammed because it's a strong hotspot. It's obviously jammed. So they're like, Hall, I need to buy internet for the day. $1,250.
I saw that.
$1,250. Now, I heard Michael from Vibo bought it because he didn't know what to do. Because he was stuck.
Well, yeah. For those of you who aren't familiar, Vibo is a music list.
It's an app.
It's an app for planning your event and then planning your music for your event. There we go. Sorry, it's tongue tied here. And
it didn't work.
And if you have an online app and you can't demonstrate it, all you are is a picture. Here's my poster, and here's an app that won't work because it's internet based. I mean, it's a great tool if you have internet.
Well, regardless of but he bought it so he could show it and take orders. He paid the $1,250 and it didn't even work very well.
Oh, ouch!
So that was insult to injury. He couldn't even get it to work right. So he paid for it, yet he still didn't get anything. So that was absolutely atrocious. And the thing that bothers me about this is I remember going to the Taj Mahal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not a fan of that property. Okay, I like it was on the boardwalk, but I felt like it was the walk of death everywhere I tried to walk in that place. It was like a 2-mile walk everywhere I wanted to go.
Yep.
It's just ridiculous. Nothing was like condensed where it was supposed to be. It's like the layout here is better, but the internet was screaming in there. I remember editing a video and hitting upload, and I turned around to do something, turned back around, and the video was uploaded. I was like, something's broken because it says the video is uploaded already.
Yep.
It just did. It was like done. I mean, something that would have taken me 20 minutes, half hour at home was done instantly. So there's good internet in Atlantic City. Harris just really is screwed it up for everybody.
I think so, my concern is that is going to end up biting Expo in the butt. And the question, like Barr, someone mentioned that they might feel that they're just too big to fail, and I think there is an attitude from not all the people who are involved with Expo, but there is a couple of people who are higher up in the Expo world that kind of have that opinion that you don't like it. Sucks to be you because we've got the biggest game in town.
Is that a Jersey thing?
I didn't say it as a Jersey person would say it.
I'm asking because we ran into other problems in Jersey.
Yeah, there's a yeah, there were.
Can I tell the story?
Yep, let's do it. I mean, I think we've got it.
We wrap it.
Yeah, let's go ahead. We'll hit it here. We're doing fine.
Okay, so Howie picks me up at the airport on Monday to go to Expo. And the airport's Philadelphia. So it picks me up in Philadelphia, and we're heading to Atlantic City on the Atlantic City Expressway, which is a tollway. Okay. And I'll make a long story short. We had car trouble. Okay. And we were able to nurse the car to a rest stop with a Starbucks and things. It's the only like rest stop or wayside or oasis or whatever on the Atlantic City Expressway, which again is a toll road. Okay. So Howie's like, what do we do? And I'm like, well, what can you do? He's got the AAA gold thing. That's just the full, enchilada where you get your toes and they'll tell you up to 200 miles for free. The good one, not the 5-mile one, but the 200-mile one, the really good one. So he calls me. He's on the phone with him for a half an hour, and they can't help him because in New Jersey, okay, get this, you have to be the special tow company to tow something off the Atlantic City Expressway. No one else can do it. You've got to be the tow company with that contract, apparently. Now, you got to pay this tow company an extraordinary amount of money to pick you up and tow you to the nearest exit, drop you off there, just in the middle, just on the side of the road, and then you can call AAA and they can tow you anywhere within 200 miles. I've never heard of anything like that anywhere else I've ever traveled. I've never heard a story about anything like that. That's just some Jersey bullshit.
You said I couldn't believe that.
I'm sorry. I mean, and so I'm wondering if this internet is more of that Jersey bullshit. I love coming to DJ Expo. I love New Jersey. I love the people there. It's hilarious. When I go there, I get a kick out of it. I love the yeah. I like that. But that part of it, I really don't like. So change that. Change all that stuff with the internet, and that's going to help a lot.
It certainly would. Somebody mentioned earlier about I want to see if I can find it. I think Richard mentioned something about the DJs who are spinning and scratching compared to playing music that DJs actually play, and that's actually something that was one of the things that when my son Michael, when he was putting together his list, he's like, well, a set for that. He's like, which direction do you go? And it's like, every DJ plays incha. Why don't you take songs that we actually play and do that? Because you know how rare that is. You very seldom, you might hear them drop a refrain or a hook from something, but you just don't. You don't hear that. So it's interesting, Richard, that you share that, because that's an area, it's a head scratcher for me. You're there, you want to show how this controller works. You want to show DJs, again, mobile DJs in most cases, but even some club DJs that are going to be playing things like Cupid Shuffle. They're going to be playing, the hottest track from so-and-so, whatever. If you're not showing how to utilize and make that work with your devices, that's like, going and buying speakers and listening to and play, some piano music and trying to judge speakers that I'm going to use for my dance music. You just can't do it.
Jeffrey, actually, he's in the chat. I didn't realize that until I looked up. What's up, dude?
Oh, is he? He's with us tonight. Oh, yeah, there he is.
He's with us tonight. And he's asking if anybody's ever heard of the New York DJ Convention.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. There's a group that has been working to put together a DJ convention in New York. Yeah, there he goes. I have not heard too much about it. I do know it exists and such. There's actually 3 different New York events that have had tried to do something over the last couple of years, and I don't know any of them how well they're doing. They haven't really been expanding into that mobile market, and that's kind of where we live. And they've
Right,
been,
right,
they've
and
been,
that's what I was wondering too. Is it or is there something there for us? You know?
yeah. And
Well, Jeffrey knows him. Jeffrey knows him, and see, Jeffrey. Okay, Jeff is Mr. New York.
yeah, that's
He knows
in his backyard.
everybody.
Yeah,
He knows all the players. He knows all the restaurants. He knows all the bars. If you want something done in New York, it doesn't matter what it is, Jeffrey's your guy to get it done. So, maybe that would be worth looking into. I mean, if New York is friendlier than New Jersey, and we want something new, and they want to throw a bone to some of the mobile guys, and they want some promotion from our side of the industry, which is actually a pretty big market segment. Maybe there's something there. I don't know.
yeah. I haven't heard enough about it, but I would definitely be interested in heading to New York to do a show or to be involved with the show, because I mean, truthfully, we looked at it. We looked at it 3 years ago. We were pricing out properties in New York and seeing if it's possible. But you get to the room nights. You're talking. It's tough to find a hotel room under $250 a night. That's
Hotel 17. I'm telling you, that's my spot.
And then things.
You got to know what you're doing in New York. And Hotel 17 is my home away from home.
And how much
they
charge?
Did the Madonna "Justify My Love" video. I mean, it's perfect.
What do they charge though?
$100
a night. Yeah, that you can't find any that have convention space, and that's the problem, is finding that.
But you got to train. You got to train. That's you don't need to stay on site. You got to train. It's New York. Or you say at Jeffrey's house. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I was gonna say
don't say that, dude. I got a family.
Well, the kids can. They can make hot dogs and macaroni and cheese. I mean,
can send the kids to camp for the week, man.
Yeah, well, they could hang out. Most of us are pretty nice.
Everybody sleep on the floor. Canal, Sound and Light. That'd be great.
It's a camping trip at Canal Sound. This would be great.
We're camping at Canal this week.
I'm gonna bring my inflatable mattress. It'll be so much fun.
They need you guys. Well, we need something. We're here. We're ready to go, and we have ideas, but they're not always good ideas. So we're willing to listen.
Good stuff. We need to wrap things up. Thank you guys for being with us tonight. Once again, go to DJNTV.com/Vegas. That will take you to the event page for our upcoming Vegas thing. We're going to be putting more information in next week. For the next about 3 or 4 weeks, is really going to solidify what's going to be happening for Shirley with that show in Vegas. Right now, there's a couple of different directions it may go, but the important thing is that it's going to be a time to go and hang out with the DJNTV crew. We're going to be there. It's just that if we can get some things put together, we may have a really big, cool thing for you guys to be involved with in 2020. Again, February, as co-located with the Photo Booth Expo. So we're looking forward to that. So,
Brian, I'm always just along for the ride.
You're there to kiss babies and sign autographs. And hopefully this time you'll sign the autographs and kiss the babies instead of kiss the autographs and sign the baby. No.
I'm your Huckleberry. Let's do this.
Thank you guys for being with us, everyone. Have yourself a good week. We'll catch you next week. Good night.